Fanboys, oh joy. These are the kind of people who get genuinely angry because you like something different than them. Yeah, we're talking Xbox and PlayStation, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, Marvel and DC, Ford and Chevy, Coke and Pepsi, Dijon and Zesty, Glad and Hefty, Chester and Chun-Li. These are the wars that divide us all. Now, when I'm talking fanboy, I don't mean the average run-of-the-mill fan. No, what we're looking at here is a purebred grade A super fan. Somebody who obsesses over insert brand here, and will defend insert brand here, from the heretics who defy the unrelenting truth that can only be found by purchasing the consumer goods offered by insert brand here. Now, this isn't all internet rhetoric, some social media mumbo-jumbo, hypothesized, hyperbolized, and sensationalized by weirdos like me. No, it's real, baby. These fanboys are the product of complex social constructs, marketing savvy, and the very real evolutionary traits hardwired into your skull. So here's the forecast on this here broadcast. You'll get a brain blast. I hate you, Comcast. So how are fanboys made? How does one go from a normal, functioning individual to a literal walking billboard? It starts in how we all go about making decisions and buying products, as described as Lavage's hierarchy of effects. Becoming cognizant of a brand. Acquiring knowledge of a brand. Liking a brand. Preferring one brand over another brand. Expressing intent to buy a product from said brand. Acting on the intent to buy a product from said brand by buying product from said brand. Now this is pretty basic, pretty A-OK for most people when it comes to day-to-day purchases. Everybody seeks out the best product for their needs, whether it be a good value or top-of-the-line quality. But for the assured, consistent purchases that you make every day, we likely don't need to analyze every detail. We all grow comfortable in our daily shopping ventures, reaching for the same things that we always have. Maybe you only buy Bic razors, Keebler wafers, Docker blazers, and Thor lasers. But for a special breed of degenerate, the fanboys, well, they take this all just a bit too far. This isn't an official stage in the aforementioned Lavage's hierarchy of effects, but I don't think you'll mind if I put my own spin on it. This is where the consumer forms an obsessive, fanatical relationship with a brand or product. When said brand is criticized, they feel personally attacked, like somebody insulted their very being. They feel compelled to buy anything offered that spouts that specific logo, and will often engage in arguments in an attempt to justify their all-consuming love for insert brand. But why? How? Just who are these people? What makes a seemingly standard citizen sacrifice sanity so suddenly? Simply said, such sorry saps seldom stay silent, spouting superficial specs, simplistic sales. Shareholders seldom smile so significantly should stocks surge. Somebody seeking satisfaction stay in speculation, saddens spectators. So seek sensibility. Save society. Stop saying S sounds so speaking simple subjects sounds supremely substantial, since sometimes subscribers struggle stomaching stylized sentence structures. Well, if you haven't clicked off the video yet, I'll probably answer whatever question I pretended to ask in that long line of alliterations. Fanboys vary in type and classification amongst the different groups and niches across the worldwide of pop culture. By exploring some of these, we might just be able to learn a bit about what corrupts these supple brains, and maybe learn a bit about ourselves along the way. Now look here, this is the three major catalysts for what differentiates a fanboy from a doughboy. We got financial, loyalty, and tribal. It's a nice Venn diagram, I know, it took a long time. Financial is simple. We're talking buyer's remorse, cognitive dissonance, false equivalence, loss of innocence. When somebody regrets a purchase they've recently made, but doesn't want to accept their mistake. In a state of panic, they jump through hoops to try and justify their investment. Take cars, for example. A car is pricey, and any resentment for dropping the big bucks, beyond budgets, breaking banks, before bonuses, behind bill! But that's besides the point. When somebody questions your new $30,000 purchase, it would be natural to attempt to reason with them. Nobody likes to make mistakes, and a normal part of human psychology is to try and justify why we make poor decisions. So even if just temporarily, a fanboy can be born from something like this. Now the concept of loyalty is a bit more complex. Lots of moving parts and whatnot. Modern technology is built around a digital ecosystem. Data is stored and saved to specific platforms. To just get up and leave, go from, say, Apple to Android and vice versa, would require time commitment to set up new accounts and access those old memes you thought were funny when you were 15. Now, loyalty business models are nothing new, since businesses always want to encourage customers to stick around for the long haul. Think frequent flyer miles, cashback programs, and the like. Now, finally, we get to tribal, the most innate, the most human. This all stems from the AMNITY-EMNITY complex. Humans have developed over time in separate societies and civilizations, and on some deep biological level we have evolved to form groups of peers and garner animosity towards outsiders. Now, while this was massively beneficial in a world where city-states were invaded on a daily basis, we don't have such conflict to deal with in our relatively comfy lives. So instead, we find new ways to satiate these deep biological urges. Now, all three of these concepts really tie into what makes a true fanboy what they are, but there's a reason this all matters. The point being that these fanboys actually do affect companies, and not just in the sense that they buy everything they put out. This can lead a company to become less motivated to function in a way that the mass market wants, since they know that they can still net a decent chunk of change from these super fans. It's very interesting that the very fanboys who love a company can give incentive for said company to not give it its all, or simply act in the most consumer-friendly manner. I mean, if you have a hyper-devoted fanbase who will buy anything, why try as hard as you can? It's certainly not a novel idea that fanboys are generally disliked from, well, most about everybody. If you spend any time here on the interwebs, you're bound to encounter quite a few of them. I mean, I used to spend my high school years on a notorious fanboy video game news site called N4G. Being young and stupid, I thought it was reasonable to argue with those blindly devoted But yeah, fanboys aren't reasonable themselves. That's what makes them fanboys. But a lot of fanboys aren't boys at all. They're big, hairy men. So if there's any big grandiose message I want to convey, it's this. If you're a fanboy, stop. It's completely natural to prefer one brand or product over another, but obsessing over them and defending bad decisions will only result in lazy companies. Let them miss by positive feedback even when none is deserved. You and everybody else will get better stuff this way, as the corporations will want to please you, the consumer. This is Tyler of Knowledge Hub.